Hi guys, Ali Duzette here, and we are preparing for the eclipse portal that is coming up on October 14th through October 28th. This massive opportunity for big shifts, healing on a spiritual level, even healing on a physical level. I think we're all going to see a bunch of unexpected things show up during the month of October just because of how the dates work for this eclipse. And I'm here to help us get ready for it. So today I wanted us to take a quick look at the chart again of this upcoming eclipse because it has some really interesting information in it. Okay, I mentioned how the North Node is conjunct Chiron. Okay, so what this means is that all of us for this eclipse portal, this 2-week window starting on October 14th, we're going to have to face a lot of our inner wounding around putting ourselves first, feeling important, making sure that our needs are met. Aries deals a lot with conflict, and I'll say that Aries does not shy away from a conflict. So Libra does. And if you see this upside down horseshoe and this right side up horseshoe, this is the track that we are all being asked to walk. We're going away from this area and towards this area. We're going away from codependency, away from sweeping our issues under the rug for the sake of keeping the peace, and towards standing up for ourselves and not shying away from a conflict, even if it might hurt. So this is a really interesting dynamic that we're all going to see for ourselves in the coming weeks. And remember that how this affects you personally is going to depend on two things, which is your natal chart, the night sky at the moment that you took your first breath on this planet, how these things make geometric angles with your natal chart is going to be important for how you experience this. And then secondly, it's the energy that you bring to it. There is an astrological saying called, I can't remember it. In English, it means that the stars incline us but do not obligate us. It just means that the things in our charts are the inclination, but we're not forced to do anything. It means that the energy that you bring to a situation changes everything. Your agency is the most important thing. So how I look at star charts is it's kind of like weather, where you can look outside and see that it's raining or that it's snowing, and you can look at that and be like, okay, I think that I had better put on a raincoat. I think I had better go put on my snow boots. But they didn't force you to do that. The weather doesn't force you to do that. I live in Utah. There's all sorts of people walking around in shorts and sandals in December. Like, you can do that. Like, you can choose how you're going to handle the weather. What we look at when we look at these charts is just the weather. It's emotional weather, and it can be kind of global emotional weather, but it's still just weather. Does the weather force you to do anything? No. Does it make you much more likely to make certain decisions than other decisions? Yes. And let's go back to that idea of the birth chart. So I grew up in Maryland. In Maryland, people do not walk around in shorts and sandals in the winter. They just mostly do not. But one of my friends moved to Maryland from Utah when we were in high school, and he always did. And so he was the one kid wearing shorts and sandals in December. Like, there's like a foot of snow on the ground, and he's like walking through it in flip-flops. But that is an energy that he brought with him from Utah, right? And so it's kind of like that. We all have our natal backdrop. This is why it's fun to get your natal chart read, the chart from the moment that you took your first breath, so that you can see how you are most likely to show up in these different kinds of situations. But okay, let's go back to that chart because I wanted to point out this one important thing, which is right here. This little section right here, we have Venus in Virgo, but we have Juno and the Black Moon at 28 degrees and 48 and 41 minutes in Leo in the 9th house. Okay. And so I felt like it was important to really bring that up today because this is a very powerful and intense energy and a really important one. Anything that's cusping the 9th house, this is the 9th house, the sign on the cusp of it is going to kind of dictate your spiritual mission to the world. Like, what do you feel spiritually called to do? And during this 2-week period of this eclipse, we are all going to feel spiritually called to engage in Juno and the Black Moon at in Leo. Okay. That is what this is saying. So, but what does that actually mean? Leo is like Aries. They're both fire signs, and they both can have some me first energy to them, and not in a bad way. You can have it in a healthy way. Again, we're putting the oxygen mask on ourselves first, but Leo in particular really has a drive to shine and be noticed, and it deeply cares about being appreciated and acknowledged for the good that it brings into the world. Now, the black moon deals with boundaries. It is a big boundary setter. The black moon is a feminine, it's considered a feminine energy, but it's what you might call like the dark feminine. It deals with, I don't know, I think of her like the medicine woman, you know, and she's like standing there with this staff and this enormous falcon on her shoulder, or an owl on her shoulder, and she just doesn't take no from people. Like, she just shows up and does what she believes is right, and other people's opinions don't bother her, and that is the essence of the black moon. This is Juno, and she deals with loyalty, commitments, but also money and marriage. Okay. So, and then Venus here deals with marriage, romance, relationships. When I'm seeing this, what I'm seeing is that we are, whether we like it or not, going to have opportunities show up in the month of October where we're going to have to establish some boundaries around something that we have committed to. So what have you committed to? And what I'm thinking it's going to look like is in our one-on-one relationships, particularly marriage or dating. It may also show up in the commitments that we have chosen as far as our money, because Juno deals with money. Juno's other name, so Juno is Hera in Greek mythology. Her other name is Montera. This is where we get the word money from. And some years ago, I went and pulled America's natal chart, and I was like, every chart works as a clock, and you can assign years, you can assign dates to each thing on the clock. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. I know some people have like copyrighted their own ways of doing this, but there are lots of astrologers who have not copyrighted their ways of calculating. And there are lots of different calculations that you can use, and they're all valid in their own different ways. You just have to know which calculations are appropriate for what you're trying to do. But anyway, I took America's birth chart and I charted it out and found that the year that we established the dollar was, in my calculation, the same year that Juno went off in the chart. And I thought, of course, money, it's that money collection, the money connection. So we're going to probably have to set some boundaries in our relationships, set some boundaries around how we spend our money. It comes back to setting boundaries about our commitments. So today I wanted to invite you to think about, what commitments do you have in your life? What commitments do you have in your life? And once you have kind of made a little list of these commitments, I want you to sit down and think about what those commitments mean to you. So marriage, many people are married, it's a commitment. But what exactly is entailed in this commitment? You know, what actual actions, what emotional scenarios are wrapped up in this commitment? I want us to take a minute and write out what commitments we have in these different relationships, in these different commitments. I'm thinking like gymnastics class. Okay, what is the commitment with gymnastics class? Well, you got to pay every month. You got to take your kids there. You might got to wait in the waiting room or whatever. Like, these are these different commitments that are associated with these bigger commitments, if that makes sense. Like, you have the commitment of gymnastics class, and then these minor, the little tiny commitments that go into that. So where are you committed? How does that look for you, or how is it supposed to look for you versus how it actually does look for you? And then, how do you feel about them? Okay, that's what I want us to talk about for today. And we're going to talk some more tomorrow about commitments. Okay. But today we're just identifying, where are our commitments and how do we feel about them? Where are our commitments and what is entailed with them? Sorry, tomorrow we'll dig into how do we feel about them, but what are you committed to, and what does that mean? What are the actual things that you have committed to? Okay, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, the notification bell if you want a little ding when these videos come out. And I'll love to hang out with you in the Facebook group, Intuitive Healing with Ali Gisette. I'll see you tomorrow.